What's up, dudes? We here today with my guy Forrest.
What up?
It's the Fork and Knife Show. We're getting to know Forrest. We're doing an interview. This is a much requested interview,
You know what I mean?
and we're just gonna shoot the shit. There's not exactly a plan here, but Forrest is definitely somebody who's inspired a lot of fucking me being able to put myself out there. He definitely inspired me and kind of put like, without even knowing, put like a little foot on my back to like get out there and put myself out there. So I do naturally have shit I want to know, and I know y'all got shit y'all want to know. Introduce yourself, my guy.
What up, y'all? I'm Forrest Ripperton. You know what I'm saying? How do you want me to just explain?
I mean, whatever you feel, you know what I'm saying? Where you from, or you know what I'm saying? What you could just, however.
You know what
I feel like when I was talking to your homie or the homie when he came and interviewed me, the first thing I started doing before I even introduced myself was talking about like what I was going through.
Yeah.
Like when he asked me to interview me, I was like, all right, well, this nigga gonna have to like he gonna have to go home with my demons.
Like shit, because I'm gonna spill everything out. All right. It's funny because we were just talking about like once you turn the camera on, it's like
Yep.
we was just having a whole full ass conversation. I don't even know what to even explain. I'm from Washington, D.C. Let's just start with that, I guess, where I came from and shit like that. I'm from Washington, D.C. I was originally born in Florida, Pensacola, Florida, but I wasn't there that long. I was barely able to open my eyes. Then we moved to D.C., and I just been on this journey of trying to become something, you know? Just trying to become something. I was a sports guy all my life, and then college hit. I dropped out, depression hit, all type of shit like that hit. And then I became this fashion art guy, whatever I want to call it. And it's been a fucking journey. And we're still on this fucking journey.
Where in the journey are you at right now? What's your like a big project, you know what I'm saying? Or even if you had a bump in the road right now, like what's going on?
All right, so since you said you was going to talk about like shit that...
Just shit.
Yeah. So the thing that's just been on my brain lately is trying to figure out what lane I want to go down.
Mm-hmm.
So I make music, I make clothes. I don't really model like that, but that's kind of whatever. So model, like music and fashion is like my two things that I'm like in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing that I've been trying to figure out is it possible to do both and still become the best at both?
Right.
Because music and fashion is like, they coincide, like they're together. But I realized if you're trying to be like an artist, musician-wise, like music-wise, you gotta like, I don't know how to explain it. Like if I want to make clothes tomorrow and I'm just like this fashion guy, blah, 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 I feel like that audience isn't going to take my music as serious because they're like, we look at you as the fashion fly guy, influencer, whatever they want to call me. So when I drop music, they're like, nah, we liked you with your fashion stuff more.
Right.
We're not going to pay attention to that. So I'm trying to figure out, do I have to pick both, or do I even want to pick both, or how do you even go about it?
I feel you. I have that same like thought in my head, and I feel like a sacrifice is to be made, and like the sacrifice to be made is either like sacrificing the level at which you reach one of these goals, or just sacrificing one of them altogether. Because the way I see it is like the same exact way. I do the clothes, I model, I style, and I make clothes, and I'm doing these reels, like getting dressed every day. And like, as I've gotten more into the reels, that's what made me think like, yo, I'm not going to be the best at anything because I'm making reels every day. I'm making YouTubes every day.
But the
I'm
thing with your shit,
day.
With your shit though, it's like all that shit really makes sense.
Yeah, it's all close. I try to make it like aesthetically like all one thing. It does all make sense, but like to the outside world, but nigga, internally, it does not all make sense. Like I just was talking to somebody about my brand. I was like modeling for him, and he was like asking me about my brand. And he asked me like, what's my goal right now? And I was like, bro, I just want to get dressed every day. And he was like, that don't got nothing to do with like the brand you was just talking about. And I was like, yeah, but like really, if I could be honest, the thing that Reels taught me was like, I want to get dressed every day. And there's no way I could be the best at it if I don't like spend hella time at it. Like even before I was doing the reels, I wanted to be the best at getting dressed. Like no matter how vague that is, you know what I'm saying? Like in my head, I wanted to feel like I had on my best fit every time I step out the house, whether I'm the best dressed or not. I feel that way. So one thing that helped me get that confidence or even just like build that repertoire was making the reels. So like I got into like a warp hole where I was like, damn, maybe like this is my passion. And like, and honestly, like I sit here and I think about it and I'm like, bro, I think I like getting dressed more than I like trying to sell clothes to people. More than I like making clothes. Like I don't want to change our life making clothes. Like as much as it seems cool, like I really could care less if I made the next coolest hoodie. But I would like if like
You had the
everybody gave a fuck about what I put on. Like if I could change the world putting some shit on. Like if somebody was like, yo, put my shit on now, everybody want it. Like, cause I made it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas is sitting by the phone like, yo, he's supposed to drop a fit today. You know what I mean? Like that to me is more important to me than the clothes or anything. And then that brings up the question for me is where I'm just like, damn, so should I focus more on, you know, saying the same question you have where it's like, should I pick a lane or should I do it all?
You know what? Like, so what I don't know if this could be true or not, but because I have thoughts, I think all day long about everything because I'm always by myself, so I can only back and forth with myself all day long. But I also thought, is me not focusing on one thing an insecurity? Because I'm like, if I focus on only one thing, I'm not confident enough that it's going to work. Like I be thinking now, I'm like, is that a sign of an insecurity or not? Or is that just me trying to, because if I go all in on music, obviously if you go all in on anything, there's a chance the shit don't work. It's always a chance that it won't work. But if you have that dedication to do it, it's like, all right, I'm just going to do this shit. And if it works, then it works. If it doesn't, we're going to figure something out when it doesn't. But like, I do be feeling like, is that an insecurity or not? Like, do you ever feel like you work on a lot of things only because you're like, well, I hope one
like
works.
Backup.
Yeah.
I don't be feeling like, more so it gives me, I guess I could see that because it gives me like a comfort blanket where I do feel like, nigga, I'm so good at so many things that something's gonna pop. Something's gonna pop. And that is like something I do feel. But I, like I said, this is like new for me. Right up until the reels, I felt like I had it figured out. But now with the reels, I'm like, damn, I like first now just like my first paid reel. And it was like, damn, if I could get that amount I just got for one reel, which took me like 2 minutes. If I could get like 3 or 4 of those a week, nigga, I would never have to do nothing but get dressed. And like, that's so obtainable.
Would you stop? Like, say tomorrow you just started getting hella DMs for the biggest brands, all that stuff to get dressed. Would you stop making clothes?
If I was making like,
and would you stop modeling?
If I was making like a 15K a month off of reels,
you would stop everything else.
I would just model pretty much. Like, I mean, I'd have a brand, but at that point, like I might have a whole team. Yeah, like where I'm just like, like where it's just like I have a brand because now I'm a businessman, not because like I want to make the coolest clothes. Like right now I still want to make very cool shit. And like I love the way like having a brand scratches an itch that nothing else scratches for me because it's so hard to do. And there's so many ways you get to express yourself that like last time I did a drop, I just felt like I successfully did exactly what I wanted as far as the aesthetic. I promoted exactly how I wanted. And that was one of the most fulfilling moments of my life. I never felt that before. So like that's something important, or that's something that clothes really does for me. So I really do like, I'm like same way. I'm like one leg in, one leg out. Cause I'm like, damn, I really do fuck with it. It scratches an itch that nothing else does. But if somebody came down right now and was like, yo, your brand is making billions, or you just get dressed and you make billions. I'm like, nigga, I just get dressed. I'm like, just get dressed. Right. I'm like, nigga, I just get dressed, brother. But like, yeah, I would still end up having a brand type shit. And I feel like also the beauty of it is that the reels, and the more popular I get with the reels, that goes hand in hand with modeling. So I would never have to let go of modeling. I'd actually now be modeling more for no reason. You know what I mean? Like I could not even watch my weight and people would still be booking me because at that point I'll be like a fashion icon or emblem. Like, so I'd be in shows still.
Oh, yeah. I get that. I don't know, bro. It's just because it's also sometimes it does feel good to be able to do a lot of shit because it's like we're just creatives overall. So it's like one day you might want to fucking do something, and then the next day you might want to do something else, and it's just you're naturally creative. So it's like, why put yourself in that one box? Right. It's like, I do think I got ideas everywhere.
We need the chaos a little bit too. I do feel like I try to have so much like structure with it. And sometimes it is like you just gotta let it flow. Sometimes just like, and I feel like for me with the clothes shit too, it's so expensive that I only can do it a couple times a year. So like within that, like the times that I'm not doing it, I just really lock in on modeling, styling, and like the reels and shit.
What's your like biggest, like when it comes to making clothes, what's your biggest like task like that's difficult that gets in the way? Like what's the biggest issue when it comes to making clothes? Because I don't make clothes on the same level you make. I just basically I'm putting graphics on tees, like quick shit like that. You're doing cut and sew and shit like that.
I'd say myself just because like I could be putting graphics on tees and graphics on hoodies, and some of my friends like that are in the vintage game like me like collect up all the vintage Levi's and then chain stitch all over them or put lace all over them, and like they're an H. Lorenzo type shit. So it's like as I sit here frustrated about like the answer to that would be like the cost, but like as I sit here frustrated that like every drop cost me like 25,000, I also have a closet full of Levi's that like I didn't do nothing cool to, that like is also like it's a part of my resources. But that to me is also where it dials in on the like us doing so much shit. Because if I said I wasn't gonna do nothing else and I just sat here and said I gotta survive off my brand, nigga, I'd have all types of shit on Levi's. I would have printed FNK all over Levi's and like.
I'm glad you said that, because that goes back to what we were talking about picking one thing. Because if you pick one thing, like right now, say you was talking about you got the brand, you want to get dressed, all this other stuff. So say you walk in H. Lorenzo, you see 3 pieces you want, you spend like $1,200 on those 3 pieces. You're probably gonna spend way more than $1,200, but you go in H. Lorenzo, you spend $1,200 on something, and now you go back and you like, damn, I want to do this with the brand. You realize, damn, it costs $1,200. Now you're like, all right, I just used $1,200 for clothes. I could have just used that bread for this, and I could have. It could have helped. So that's another thing too. It's like if you really locked in, at least that's what I'm thinking about. Like if you really lock in on one thing, where would that take you?
I think the beauty of the mindset though that we have is that no matter what, it's gonna push us forward. Because really what we're doing is just like, and what I do that helps me, or like something that helped me in like these type of moments, is like trying to reset myself to focus on the journey, because it is a journey, and I feel like we just getting lost in the destination type shit. Because like just with this mindset alone, I feel like we're naturally pushing ourselves. We're trying to figure out like what it is we want to do, and like we're ahead of the game already. Exactly, we're ahead of the game already. The best I can do is like, bro, I sat here by my table all day and journaled and listened to 30 hours and like just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? But it's like some days I just have to get out there and do shit. But nah, I feel that on like full-fledged, bro. I be looking back on some shit or just on some spending or anything, and I just be like, damn, if everything was locked in on like
buying clothes, I wasted money.
That's the one beauty of reels right now too. Almost everybody I want, like I can like just pull up on and be like, bro, I just want to put it on real quick and like make a reel, and then you could keep it type shit. But I also have so many homies who have showrooms, so like I do have access to like a lot of clothes. But no, I do that too. I look back and like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like every month I spend at least a rack on clothes. And then it'd be that same like rack that I'm hot about when like the sample maker hits me up and is like, yo, all right, your pants are done, 1,200. I'm like, yo, I just bought some Ann Demeulemeister pants for $7. And like, it's like, why did I cop those? And I cop those because they look fire in the reel in the pictures, and they just look fire, and I need some fire shit. And like, so yeah, no, it's definitely, I have that same like thought in my head where I'm like, fuck, should I be like locked in? Honestly, I did that. That's how the brand started, was like, I was like, and that's how the YouTube started too, was basically like, I usually sacrifice something. Like, so, and it's usually thrifting, because that's like the underlying one thing I do too that's like not in the aesthetic. You know, I don't even put it in there. Like most people don't know I do that. But like, that's the thing that usually sacrifices. When I started my brand, I stopped thrifting. I sold my whole collection, and I just like
sold all your vintage
I sold all my vintage shit, sold all my racks, everything, canopy, got out the game for like a year and just focused on the brand. And then I needed bread, so I came back in the game. And then like when I started my YouTube, I just stopped re-ing up. Like if I could get in the market, I would go sell, but I wouldn't go spend any time during the day like looking for clothes. I would just stay here and do YouTube and reels and shit like that. So like usually like something has to sacrifice. And honestly, it's like, to me, I know why that's my sacrifice, because thrifting takes up most of my day. And for me, when money is slow, that seems like the only thing I can control. Because like a modeling gig, I can't force you to book me. A styling gig, I can't force you to book me. I can't force someone to pay me for a reel. But I can go to a thrift store and find some shit. You know what I'm saying? I can spend all day and find 50 pieces. And if I put that online, like I'm gonna make some money that week. You know what I mean? So that, and to me, that is the sacrifice I need to make and the hurdle I have to get over, because every time I show myself not to rely on that money comes in. You know what I mean? It's just like a test where it's like, is you still gonna stay and do some shit? That's
that backup shit there.
Yeah, exactly. It's that backup shit. So it's like, if it feels like a backup, then cut it. But if it feels like it's what you want to do, I feel like you just got to figure out how to do both. One thing I say too is like, as much as like I'm motivated, or as much as like niggas like us are motivated, or people from the outside think we're doing so much, I be feeling like from the outside.
Look at that. I try to grab them shits.
I be trying to. Oh, I actually caught that nigga. I caught that nigga and he survived. Holy shit.
Like this,
I didn't expect to actually catch that nigga. Holy fuck. And I hit him again. I'm on one today.
Hey, that's funny as shit. That just interrupted the whole shit.
Shit. I don't even remember no more. Like, what the fuck was going on? That nigga pulled up and was making noise.
You really grabbed him.
I really caught his ass. How the fuck I ain't kill him though? That nigga was just in there alive. That's crazy.
Okay. I don't even remember what the fuck he was at. He was talking about, oh yeah, just picking stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I just feel like if it feels like it's like
Plan B?
if it feels like it's plan B, then probably drop it. But I do feel like, I feel like, although the outside perception is that we be maxing out, it's crazy because when I'm consistent on YouTube, this is the most I ever have people coming up to me like, yo, you're maxing out. You reels, you do da. And I had a moment before somebody was patting me on the back like that. I had a moment the night before in the hot tub where like tears in my eyes, feeling burnt out. And I was like, nigga, it's like time to turn up more, like instead of pity yourself. And I do be feeling like,
we are hard on ourselves.
I know personally there's be times where I just like don't need a break and give myself a break. And I guess that like what I'm saying is like, if you want to do music and fashion, or I want to do reels, fashion and styling and modeling, it's like, then the sacrifice is sleep. The sacrifice is happiness. You know what I mean? It's like you pick one and be a little more sane. If you want to do both, then the sacrifice is vagina. The sacrifice is social skills. The sacrifice is like all that, because it's like you can't. There's no way you could do those two and fucking like. That's why the one thing I really loved about New York when I went is I felt like it was all about being good at what you do. And this is like out here, you got to be good at what you do, and you got to go out here and talk. You know what I mean? So like that makes it just a little bit more treacherous out here. A little bit more. You got to be like
I fuck with New York.
Extra step. Yeah, I fuck with. I want to
go outside and be talking to people like they're like right next to, like it's just people as soon as you go outside.
So original too.
Yeah,
just feels like
I was literally just having a conversation with my homies about deciding whether or not I want to move back out there.
Yeah, Deadass was like talking about moving out there recently, and fucking my mom was like, but you know the winter's out there, and I was like, damn, you're right, Ma.
Especially not from feeling cold weather for a long time.
And I'm like fucking, I've done well. I mean, I've been here a long time. I've established so much connections and shit like that. It just feels like
been here how long?
6-7 years type shit. So like, it just feels like I've established so much connection that I would feel. But it's also like those are the moments, like the challenges you're scared of or you think you shouldn't do, that are like probably the ones that'll propel you. So I have been thinking about New York. I have it in my plan to live in Milan from 30 to 33. So that's in 2 years. So and it's crazy because as soon as I set that goal for myself, my mentor's brand got acquired by a Italian brand. His office is in Milan now, and he lives in Milan now, and he's like 32. So I was like, okay, shit, I feel it. Like I'm like, it's like a little sign to me I'm doing the right shit type shit. I'm actually going out there to model in a couple days. All right. So what was it? What was your most common mistake? What'd you say that was again?
Not being consistent.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I was like my consistency. I feel like consistency is just built on planning, bro. For real. Because like my consistency, you'd be goddamn out your mind if you think I could make a reel every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. I'm not even like, I don't even like it that much.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part I be having a thought about sometimes when I do this shit. I'm just like, bro, who likes any of this shit? This, like, you gotta be real psycho. Like, I love clothes, but it'd be like, I do that. That's why I do it. I'll make 20 in a day if I can, because I'm like, yo, I don't have to do this for another 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like a good plan. Right now, I fell off on the YouTube shit, so I have 3. This will be my 3rd video in the vault. One's already edited, and I'm started editing other ones. So then this will just be I'll finish that today. This will be the only one I have to edit. I'm gonna try to do like 2 or 3 more before I leave for Italy. Okay. And in October, I'm gonna start dropping, and I'm gonna just do 2 videos a week. So I'll have 2 weeks already covered of videos type shit, or 3 weeks.
That's probably a problem I have too. I don't plan.
Yeah, I'll just be trying to get like a little, because I know myself. I know if I give myself, let's say I make 5 reels, I know I'll make more in those 5 days if I just give myself that little window. But if I make 1, the next day, I don't know if I'm gonna make 1, because I don't know if my mood is gonna be in the same, or even inspired type shit. I try to write like, I'm just, and that's the cool part too. The part I always pat myself on the back for is like being in a position now where we're like, we need these thoughts. Like we're like kind of like overwhelmed. Like that was something I always wanted. I used to be like, damn, I want so much work. I don't know. Like I need a journal. I got so much work. Like I need to, like I just said to myself the other day, I literally said to myself, I gotta buy a big ass white. I need like a whiteboard double the size of this. And I want to just write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like write the days of the week. And then since it's dry erase, I could always restart it type shit, but I'm just going to plan every week and go by that and then restart it the next week type shit, just so I can have it. Because now I have so much shit that it's like, I literally could go 2-3 days and forget that I have a whole YouTube. Right. Because I was making reels, I was modeling, I was doing all this shit. So it's like, I literally need to like wake up and look at the shit and be like, oh, it's YouTube day. So all I care about today is YouTube. Like I'm not worried about making clothes. I'm not worried about this. I'm just going to do YouTube day. Or like, it's like, make clothes morning and YouTube afternoon. Like I'm just gonna try to like plan out the day a little bit more, because I feel like that's what helps the consistency. Because right now my consistency is getting fucked up, which never was, but like I got that much on my plate now where like,
that's what I need. I need a whiteboard for sure.
I ain't dropped a YouTube video in a month. If there was something I could like pass along to all the homies, it's like whiteboard, journaling, books, all type of shit. Like when I be talking to some of my like homies, I'm like, damn, you really like, I don't got no journal at the crib. Like, how do you get shit done?
I'll write.
Yeah, I gotta write a lot of shit down just to like.
Sure. I'll be writing shit down to just reassure myself of what the fuck I'm doing.
I swear right, I'd be doing the same thing. And I swear like I got a whiteboard in my room. It's just like a small square whiteboard. And I swear that one is like a magical portal. Like I only write on it every now and again, but whatever I like write on it, I always draw it in images instead of like writing it. I'll draw like me carrying a bag of money or some shit. But like it always works out. So like I treat that one delicately. It's like my portal whiteboard type shit. But yeah, I gotta see the shit. I gotta have it like all fucking bunch of like little mood board shits around here, just trying to keep myself fucking like knowing where I'm going with it.
You gotta see the shit.
Yeah.
That definitely helps. I gotta see everything that I'm trying to do.
And it's also just like I'm watching documentaries and it's like the niggas who only did one thing, like Ralph Lauren or something, like when you only do one thing, you just have so much time that you really do just like fall in love and do dumb shit like this and like got shit all over cardboard, like pictures cut out and shit like that. Because like that's what happens when you're not so scattered everywhere where you can slow down and take a breath. But to me, that's the beauty of like, I think the one thing that I have to cut off, or like every creative is battling with, is like work mindset. And then like there's two different minds. That like me, when I go out thrifting, I'm working. But like when I sit here, like I sat here all day, I felt like shit most of the day, bro. I was sitting right here smoking by the fucking kitchen table, fucked around, and like I'm going to Italy in a little bit. So like today I like ain't spoke to my ex in like 2 months, but I was like, yo, can you watch the dog? And like she like quoted a tweet I tweeted like 2 days ago. Like her response was a quote of a tweet I tweeted. Like, and it wasn't even a tweet I tweeted. I retweeted a tweet. And she quoted that shit as the response to me. So that shit all the way blew me. But like I say that to say, like, I feel like it's harder to like sit here and really like writing out a schedule feels like you're doing nothing. Yeah. But like once you get that shit done, it's a big aid to like the consistency. It's a big aid to, and sometimes even if I feel like shit, I'll just sit here the whole day and like not run from it. Cause I'll be like, that's, yep, like, all right, got to get through it type shit. Cause usually that is like what'll stop me from being consistent. It's like not feeling good. So I'm like, let me just get it all. Let me just experience it all in one day type shit. It's interesting because it's like I hear a lot of people say like it can't be mood based, like your consistency or your work can't be like mood based.
Yeah, because your moods change.
Yeah, but I still exist there very much so where I'm like, fuck, all right, I don't feel cool today.
Yeah. Dead ass.
And it's crazy. That's one of the biggest pressures I feel like I experience is like, since everybody does think I'm so cool and everybody does see I drop a reel every day when I don't feel good. Yeah, I'm like, bro, there was one day I didn't post a story and my homie called me and was like, you good, bro? I was like, bro, please don't tell me not posting a story means like 2 days
I'm
ago, not good.
Yesterday, I was like, if I go ghost, that just means I'm working on myself
right
now. I'm just trying to figure shit out.
Sometimes, but like literally, even with him saying that, in that moment, I decided like, I will do that if I feel like it, which is basically like sometimes I just give myself 24 hours off of Instagram. Like I'm not posting no stories, no nothing. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm good for the day.
I low-key want to disappear from the internet. I like always wanted to do that, but I have to figure out how to do it and still be like making money and doing shit. Because I really like,
there's a few people
hate
like
the
that.
internet. I'm not gonna lie, hate it.
There's a few people like that. I can't remember who. There was a stylist who like now is like out there and known, but they used to only post pictures of themselves with like masks on and shit like that, and nobody knew who it was. And then I think they like it ended up being like one of the assistant creative directors for some brand or some shit like that. But like they literally went on like 5 years as like an unknown person. And I'd be thinking a shit like that too. It's basically just like that is like. That's built on the foundation of like you did all the internet shit already.
Yeah, and also it's like I know, number one, I know what the internet does to my brain and like it makes me think about shit I don't want to think about. And then number two, I see a lot of stuff on the internet and most of it to me feels like it's just people trying to prove that there's something or trying to, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like pure. Right. I feel like it's just like a toxic place.
Right. I refer to the internet as like a trade show. It's like somewhere where you show what you do, somewhere where you sell stuff. Like it's literally, that's why I'm like, I feel, and I had to have these thoughts or like these moments in order for me to like liberate me posting reels every day because I had a moment where I felt lame doing that shit. But like, I now just see it as like, people think I spend more time on there than I do, but like I drop my reels before I go running so that I literally have to stop right there. I have to drop it, close my phone and start running right there. So like I don't go look at it and then I try to stay off for most of the day. I don't be looking at my notifications because I just know I can't get too into it because I'm posting on there every day. But yeah, I feel like it's just for selling shit. Like it's just for selling shit. The rest of it is toxic as fuck. It's like just to promote, just to sell shit. And then it's like get out of there and like focus on because it has no like, there's like no benefit with it as far as like being a creative other than like selling and promoting your shit. Like being on there is not going to help you make better clothes or something.
Yeah, not at all. Because you got to sit down with your own self and different inspiration from books or whatever the fuck you watch. I don't know how to do it. I have no idea how to do it, but I really do want to just be incognito doing whatever the fuck I'm doing. And it's like, you know me. Like, you know that I'm doing shit and stuff like that, but it's like, if you see me, you see me type thing.
Like people make pages for you.
Yeah, like, that type of shit. I feel like that'd be so hard. Where like how on some Frank Ocean shit, like
it's just basically
you don't see this nigga.
In order to do that, you have to establish like mega fame. So it's like you have to basically beat the internet. You have to take part in the internet so deeply that you beat it, and now you could disappear. It's ass backwards.
It's like
what's the goal of your brand? That's what we were about to get into.
Oh yeah.
Or the intent.
Oh well, when I first was doing it, it was just out of like I was just depressed as fuck, and I just needed an outlet. So I started just making shit, and then that's where like the first name came from, the I'm Happy Promise shit, like all that stuff, because it was just like a depression thing, and it was about just helping my mental health. And I knew other people I knew I wasn't the only person going through the shit I was going through, so I just wanted to make shit where like, all right, this is how I feel, and I'm gonna put it into the world, and whoever like interacts with it, I understand, okay, I'm not alone in the world with this shit. So that's where it started at. And it still has that element, but I'm at the point right now of trying to just figure out, I think I'm trying to figure out that question when it comes to my brand. Like, what is it? Like, what is the intent? What am I trying to say to the world? Because right now, I feel like I'm just, whatever comes to my brain, I'll put it down and just try to put it out or something like that. But I really am trying to figure out what my brand stands for. Right. And even if I want to even keep doing it, right. Like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this clothes shit. I feel like sometimes I'm only doing it because that's what people think I should do. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to sit down with myself and be like, are you doing this because you really want to make clothes? Or are you doing this because you've been in this world already, so you feel like that's an obligate, like you have to do it. Right. Trying to figure that out because I'm on the same shit you was on. Like, I really just like getting, like, I'm a style person. Like, I fucking love putting shit to like different shit together and putting fits together. When it comes to clothes and making clothes, that's a whole nother world, bro. Like, it's a whole nother world.
It's like businessman me. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like natural me just like loves and that's what I told somebody recently too. I was like, bro, the purest version of fashion is the getting dressed, is the consumer. Because like that, if you're not in love with getting dressed, like you could make millions off clothes and not be in love with getting dressed. To me, like the purest, people that do that. The purest form of this shit is loving getting dressed. And I feel like that liberated or helped me accept that I literally just want to get dressed because I'm like, no, I'm the truest artist. Like, I love the art about this shit. Like, I'm not trying to make it and make millions off y'all. I'm trying to get dressed, bruh, and like really love what I'm putting on and continue to surprise myself. One of the best feelings I have is when I didn't think two things would go together, and it does. And I'm like, holy fuck, and I look good. I'm like, holy fuck, I love this. So that's really like, to me, the purest art form of fashion. And that is why like my goal has been reset like a few months ago to just like getting dressed. Like, I changed my little bio on Instagram to say getting dressed because I'm just gonna get dressed type shit. I'm still gonna do my brand because like I love the clothes, but I'm just trying to get dressed.
What is like your goal or shit for your brand? Like, where did it come from? Like, where did literally the name from? Everything.
The pandemic. I was like I told you earlier, I've always been into clothes and it felt natural, but like when I used to live in Atlanta, I was working on music. I used to produce. I got songs with Young Thug, Pierre Bourne. Like, so at that time I got knee deep in Xanax and I'd never liked music. So I was just making it because I was good at it and because it was cool. And I lived in Atlanta and it seemed like the thing to do. But it wasn't fulfilling at all, like at all. So like I moved out here on the basis of that. I was working as an audio engineer and a producer, just doing.
What made you come out here? Like,
I'm in Virginia. So basically the Young Thug song, I make the beat for Young Thug. I got some Pierre Bourne songs out at this time, but nothing is like too big of a check. But this Young Thug song is like supposed to be on the radio. So like I'm gonna get a check. And like I'm waiting for that to drop. And like in my head, I'm living in Virginia now at this time. Like I moved back from Atlanta to Virginia. And in my head, I'm gonna just visit California and work with people and shit like that, but go a lot. So I had already did that a few times. I'd go like 2 months at a time and then come back home, work for my pops. So this time I'm at home working for my pops. Long story short, I get pulled over with a gun, Xanax weed on me, and I get a court date for like a month later. And I just hit up the homie and I'm like, yo, I want to move to California because when I get put on probation, my address is in California. I'm in California probation because like in Virginia, they'll give you like 5 years probation, nigga, you can't leave. Now I just live in Virginia for 5 years type shit. So I was like, if I get an LA address, they got to put me on, even if they put me on 5-year probation, I want to be here for 5 years. So I got an LA address, went to court, and that literally is what pushed me out here. But I ended up going to court and the charges got dropped. But I was living out here by then. So that really pushed me to be out here. And then the pandemic hit, and it was just one of those moments where, like, bro, the pandemic, I just started running, staying at home, feeling good, like not having to go do shit and like really digging deep in myself. And one day I was just like, yo, I do not like making music no more. And I got to figure out how I am going to, like, by this time, like, I'm modeling a lot and styling a lot already. So I'm just like, how do I want to express? And I was selling vintage, and people would say to me all the time, like, damn, bro, you should have a brand. Or like, I'd model a brand and they'd be like, is that yours? Type shit. So I just was like, man, I'm gonna start my brand. And immediately fell in love with it. Fork and Knife, my first collection, I wanted to call it silverware. So then I was like, I'm gonna call the brand Fork and Knife. Like, I didn't have like, no, I liked, since a youngin', like for some reason, like I picked up on Acne Studios very early. So like I just always loved just Acme Studios. Like it just sounded cool. So I put F&K Studios. But most of the shit was random. And then now, like, the intent of my brand is solely like, as I get to know myself better, I get to know the intent and the goal of my brand better, because it's really a representation of me.
Yeah.
And like what I want my brand to do and speak is the same thing I do. And like this also, like now when I explain this, it doesn't sound the same, but when I had dreads, it hit a little harder. But like from across the street, walking up, even still to this day, across the street walking up, you might be intimidated if you're like, anybody, you might be intimidated. There's a big black guy walking up, or like black guy, tall black guy walking up, you know what I'm saying? Looks like he could be from an urban background type shit. And then I get there and I can beat you in chess. I know wine, I know how to talk, and like I could take your bitch, or you know what I'm saying? Or I could open the door for you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not what you see in like the front, in like that front forefront. And I'm like also like I could go on the street and kick it with my niggas all day, and I also can go to like a high class dinner with like some rich folks. So like that's what my brand is to me. My pants are cool enough for you to wear out there with your niggas smoking or whatever. And then fucking a chick might hit you up and want to go to a nice dinner. You don't got to change your pants because my pants is nice enough for both. Maybe you got to change your shoes, but you could wear mine out with your homies and to the, so it's like that duality of where it's like, I call it clean grunge, where it's just like, which is my aesthetic. And it's like, I'll put on a shirt with like a hole in it, but like I got a line up and my skin's clear. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I put in eye drops before, I'll get dummy faded. I get dummy faded, but I put in eye drops every morning so that my eyes look like I'm not dummy faded. You know what I mean? Like, so that is like the pretty much the ethos of my brand, or the identity of my brand, is just like being able to live in both those worlds, where it's like, yo, this is like, seems like some cool Y2K street shit. And then at the same time, I could like see like an older dude just putting it on because it's a good shirt and like feels good. So like that's where I've gotten to so far with like my intent, or just like my identity of the brand. I've spent more time thinking about that than I've made clothes. Because to me, like that is important. My first 2 drops, I think I did, I really thought the clothes out, but the photo shoots came out not how I wanted to. And that's like the most important part, kind of, because it's like, that's what people see. Yeah. So once that happened, I was just like, man, I need to lock in on, like, I don't know, like I would be modeling for other brands and see like how close the brand owner was to the photo shoot and the photographer, and how much he's like talking to him. And that made me be like, oh damn, I need to know like more about like myself and my brand. And then Virgil was also pretty big on like brand identity. So like after watching it's his birthday? Happy birthday, Virgil. That's crazy, because I was seeing a lot of like Virgil stuff on Twitter, and I was like, damn, everybody's like down, like talking about Virgil today. Okay, then he just came up naturally. Yeah, happy birthday, Virgil. But yeah, his videos helped me also figure out like what I want to do with the brand a lot, and just help me figure out the identity a lot. Yeah, what do I got? I think we talked about that kind of. A bump in the road. Is there a bump in the road you recently overcame?
I feel like my whole life is fucking bumps in the road.
It's just a bumpy ride.
And it's just like, fuck, so like, I feel like every day is something. Like, and it's not even shit that's like, it's not like tangible things that's happening. I just feel like I'm fighting my mental every day. Life really ain't as hard as we make it seem. It's not, man. I'm like doing way better than I think I am.
Right.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I think so too. I like look at myself and I'm like, nigga, I mean, we went from like never being out the country to like every fashion week this year, like
Yeah.
paid for. So like that alone is like I pretty much checked off my entire modeling like bucket list because I didn't have too much like that's not my passion type shit. So
What was you doing at 25? Because that's how old I am.
25.
Like, was you
That's 3
always
years ago?
Yeah, like
I've been here for a year and a half. So then a year and a half before that, I think I just moved into. Damn.
because I be wanting to know that, like, what were people doing when they, like, people who are older than me? What was y'all doing at 25? Like, what was y'all thinking about? Because I want to know if I'm crazy or not, or if this is just a natural thing I'm supposed to be going through.
All I know is you're way better. You're in a, how long ago was the pandemic?
2019.
2019.
When it ended.
When it started.
About to end.
When did it start? 2019. When did the pandemic
I think 2018. Yeah, 2019. I think
2019 the pandemic started. It's like 3 years old, or it's probably about to be 4 years old type shit. Yeah. So yeah, that's when I was 25. I was 25 when the pandemic started. Bro, I was just trying to get money. Like I just started doing things not for money. I just started like doing things and taking a risk on myself. I was scared at 25. At 25, I was like fucking probably making like 80,000 a year off of clothes, off of vintage clothes. So I was locked in. I was like, that's what I gotta do. I was still living like buying stuff for myself and shit like that. And fucking before 25, I was like addicted to Xanax. So I still was kind of bouncing back from that. And like that was 25 was like the year I like quit music. So like I was just breaking out of like being lost. Like prior to 25, I was a music making Xanax
like, what got you into Xanax?
Type shit. Depression. Fucking think maybe when I was like 21 or some shit like that, my mom and pops like separated and that shit just fucked me up. And then like I found kind of a moment that made me feel like I was better at music on Xanax. And then I found a way to like I was doing Xanax and drinking like espresso coffee.
Like even with the music and Xanax, just in general, like did somebody introduce you to the Xans? Did someone or did you just get curious and was just like,
I think I just got curious, or maybe I would have to say like someone definitely, but I be the influence sometimes too, so I don't know. But like I know I didn't just like think of them on my own. Like I'm pretty sure someone like offered to pay me with one or like.
Were you doing it before?
It was definitely no. It was only music. It was like during music, and it was like Virginia. So like when I lived in Atlanta, which was when I started music and I was doing the shit for Young Thug and all that shit, that was like a whole different era. And then I graduated college and I moved back to Virginia for like a year. And this is when I got arrested and all that shit, yada, yada, yada. But like that is when I really like got into it. And I think it's just because like in Virginia, small town, very bored, very slow. And like that's what people are like. Like when I came back from like, boom, I left Virginia, I was 17, I went to college, came back, I was 21, 22. And like when I come back, like 17 is real innocent. Like we were smoking weed, hanging out. I come back at like 21, 22, my friend talking shit about our old friends. Like, yeah, they over there doing coke now. I don't hang out with them. Like shit I never heard of. So like I just moved back to Virginia, like kind of fucking, and just like went straight into that environment type shit where it was like I was in my homie's like trap house all day and night making music because he had like a friend in there who audio engineered. So like I was just in that environment of drugs and pills and shit like that. So it came about that way. And then I just really liked how it made me not feel like I was in my head. It kind of like slowed shit down for me, like helped me, like made me feel like my thoughts are more clear. Now that I look back on this shit, I'm like, I feel disgusted in that shit. But like at that moment, I felt like I was like, it was helping me type shit. So yeah, at 25, I was just coming out of that shell. I think I cut my hair in 25 when I was 25. So like that was just like the beginning of a new, like before that, I didn't do shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers are like, oh yeah, you produced for Young Thug, you did this for Pierre Bourne, bro. To me, 25 was the beginning of my life. I still sometimes like be wondering why I'm so like blissfully happy. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I just found myself. Like, so You on the right track, bro, because this is just like two,
Man.
3 years of knowing myself, bro. Like I did not know what I wanted to do at all, nigga. Like at all. I just started putting myself out there too. I also was like not 25. I wasn't like willing to put myself out there. Like I still like I started my brand maybe. I was 26, 25, and like I know at the beginning of that I was still scared. I'm still sometimes scared of like what people think about my brand or what my friends think about my brand. I was very like yeah, just like fearful, like not willing to take a chance on myself, not putting myself out there.
Yeah.
So literally, like I said, nigga, you inspired me to do that this year. So like 25, I was like, 25 was a big, big year for me because that was the year I sat down and I said, I don't want to do music.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to figure out what I want to do.
So, because I'm asking how the question because I'm just curious as fuck. So with the music shit, how did you even get into music? Like, was that just something?
Nigga, it would seem like, oh, well, I mean, as a black dude, I always wanted to rap. You know what I'm saying? I got expelled in middle school for writing a rap on a piece of paper that a teacher found type shit. So like always wanted to rap, got into college. One of my close friends was a rapper and I didn't want to rap because I didn't want to put myself out there type shit at the time. So I think I made like a rap tape with him, but on some like, I didn't use my name and I didn't want people to know it was me. And then I was like, damn, I could like be a producer and I could still be in the vibe, but I don't have to like fucking be the face. So then I just started making beats. It literally was just all on some like there was not much thought to it. It just was like just something that was around me. I was a product of my environment up until like 25. I just was doing like what was around me because I was like the coolest kid. Yeah, I was like the coolest kid living with the pressure of being the coolest kid and like trying to figure it out. Like everybody thinks I know so much and I'm doing so much cool. Like within a year of making beats, I was doing shit for Young Thug. So people are worshiping me and I'm at home like, what am I doing? Like I don't even nigga one of the songs I made with Young Thug, like I YouTubed like Young Thug type beat and then like remade the beat and then added shit that I thought like made it sound cool. But it's like, I just took me like 30 minutes. Like I wasn't doing it at all. I wasn't trying to get better at it or nothing like that. So like 25 was when I decided like, okay, let's actually like have some direction with what I'm doing. Like I told you, I was modeling for 3 years before 25 and I still was like bloated and on Xanax.
Crazy. I need some fucking direction. That's what I need to just have direction on my life. And that's why I'm going back to what we was talking about, the fucking picking something. I think in order for me to have some direction, I probably got to pick something just for my brain to feel cool. Because I think a lot of other shit too is going back to with the clothes shit. With music, because I also think about how I'm gonna make money from shit. And I feel like that's the worst thing to think about when you're creating art is when you're focused on how you're gonna make money from it, because then that makes your thoughts and your ideas totally different from just creating from just pure creativity. So I think like the reason why I still stick with clothes is because I know with music, it's not like an instant you start just making money. Like I could drop a song tomorrow and I don't have a crazy audience that know my music and shit like that, so I'm probably not gonna make no money from my bread, like from my music. But I could make a tee or a hoodie or some shit tomorrow and drop it and know I make bread off of it. So I wanna just
I feel like it takes I feel like it really takes planning, like I said, and like sitting down and like figuring out, because I feel like you could do both, but I feel like maybe you just intertwine it where it's like the music and the clothes are one. So it's like you only really drop clothes based off of the music. And like you use graphics now. So let's say, like all smiles go to heaven. Let's say you said that in a song. Then that would make more sense. Like get the all smiles go to heaven hoodie. And then now when you make reels or shit for that, you use the all smiles go to heaven song as so like it allows you
But that's my thing too though, because the type of music I make is like, I don't make like.
But no, that's the thing though, like nigga, it's not like you have to, it's not like it has to say some happy shit. I'm just using that as like a fucking, but like, even, okay, I'm on my way. Like it literally could just say, I'm on my way on that bitch with like on a cool shirt with like the puff print. I feel like you don't have to think too hard because like your actual vibe that you got going on is like people are buying into you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like So that's a beautiful place to be, where it's like people are gonna buy the shit because of you. And I feel like you also have like a beautiful thing going on where you can like sell what you're selling, which is like printed on pieces, like, and you're able to do it. So like you have such a wide like little option there where like I feel like nobody would even really notice, like if you just like, it's just like a pivot to where it's like, okay, now my clothes just say stuff I actually say.
Yeah, I think that's what I gotta do. Stop thinking about it as a clothing brand and probably put it as like just some like art merch shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just some merch shit for Forest Ripperton. And maybe even
that'll make me like be more cool with the thought process.
You could even like one thing that I'd be doing that is a part of, to me, what helps me is like a little chaos because I'm so structured. Like you don't even really need an Instagram for it.
Right.
Like that be the shit that I'd be feeling like I got to do everything so the way that everybody's doing it, and then that's kind of the distractions because it takes away from like you making it unique the way you want it to be. So it's like it doesn't even have to exist in that type of way. Like just let it be one thing. It's like, yeah, I be dropping clothes when I drop music. You know that. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a whole Instagram for you to know that. I'm going to take a picture and post it and show you guys that I'm dropping a hoodie and this song type shit. And I think it does also help like now the people who like your clothes and shit are going to be listening to the music and tapping in with the clothes. Just kind of break, you know, that's my thing, man. I try to figure out how to make it all a circle. Like that's my fucking thing. Yeah, I feel like you don't have to stop either one. I wouldn't. Nigga, you got something going. I'm still trying to figure it out, bro. I'm trying to like my shit's selling, but I'm like, fuck, man. I'm trying to sell some shit that costs me less to make, man. I want like a cool graphic, but no, I definitely think.
Are you gonna make graphic? Is it a reason why you don't do graphics? Is it a reason?
Just don't wear graphic tees that much, and I'd be trying to make some shit that I feel like I will wear, but also like I just need to explore more, and I just need to like sit with myself more. Like I have no excuses when it comes to clothes. I just haven't spent enough time on it. I spend my least amount of time on like making clothes, I think, because it's like it costs so much and like all my ideas cost so much that it's like I get more excited about like making a pair of cargos, but then like I know those cargo pants are gonna cost me like $500 just to make one pair, like the pattern and the sample type shit. So it's like that usually is like where I'm like, I'm not really fucking with it. But then like I just recently like thought of a fire ass graphic tee, and my homie came over and we made the graphic for it type shit. And I'm gonna like drop that before I leave for Italy. But and that was a moment for me where I was like, okay, it just basically like when it comes to clothes, and that's why I love the clothes shit so much. I have a hard time putting out something that I am not in love with.
Right.
Like this shit is like true. That's like one of the signs where I just feel like, man, I really love this shit, because like I can't put out something that I'm not in love with. And it's hard for me to be in love with like a graphic. But like I just created something recently where like maybe I'm not in love with the graphic, but I'm in love with the entire story that's being told with the drop. So like that helped me figure out how I could like get more into graphics. I also just like think that there's multiple ways to do that, where it's like, okay, I'm cutting sew, but like I make a lot of money off of trucker hats, or I'm cutting sew, I make a lot of money off of like socks.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's the thing with fashion too. Like when you look at brands, it's certain shit that help. That certain things just don't sell as good as that's why accessories are like in like big fashion brands. Accessories is the thing that's keeping these brands alive.
Exactly. So I more so than I want to make a graphic hoodie or t-shirt, I more so want to find that one thing that everybody wants, like make a cool looking fucking phone case that everybody wants, or a fanny pack that goes under instead of on top, so like you always got your shit right here, whatever you need, like just something like I'd rather like be making a lot of bread off of just like these random accessories where it's like, yo, he drops pencils or some shit like that, and his pencils be going crazy. He drops coloring books, and it's gonna like, little do you know, it cost me 30 cents every coloring book type shit, like some real like something like that, where it still seems like something I could attach myself to. I just have a hard time attaching myself to like t-shirts. Like I haven't even found like a pre-made t-shirt that I like the way it fits. So then that fucks me up too. That fucks me up too because I'm like, yo, I gotta print this shit on a shape of a shirt that I don't even like, or I gotta print it on my own cut and sew shirt. And now at that point, we're not
doing it.
we're not doing it no more.
What's this is that I get you brought up coloring books, but because I'm trying to get into reading. Like I don't read that often, but I try to read sometimes. Like what's some books that you could say probably like changed your thought process or like changed your life?
The 4 Agreements changed my life. This book called The 4 Agreements. Oh, The Voice of Knowledge changed my life. They're both by the same person, somebody Ruiz. I think like Andy Ruiz, but it's like The Voice of Knowledge. I read that one first, and then I read The 4 Agreements. But The Voice of Knowledge changed my life. That shit's sick. It's just like, I need to read it again because like when I finished reading that, I was in a really good mental headspace. It just takes you out of like, it takes you basically, we're character building. You know what I mean? Like we created a character in our head. We are character like building. Like when you fucking sit at the crib and don't do anything or don't do what you wanted to get done for the day and you're like, man, I'm not the type of person who sits at home all day, like, you know what I'm saying? You eat at yourself about that. It's because you've created a character who doesn't take days off. You know what I'm saying? It's like you've created that character. So like the book is kind of like helps you separate yourself from like all the standards that you've created for yourself type shit. And it's just like a really eye-opening book. So I say that joint. Those 2, Voice of Knowledge, 4 Agreements, and then there's this one book called Contagious that's like less about like mental stuff, but it's about like how brands take off and shit like that. And like they have like a story about like how Apple were the first people to make white headphones. So now every time you see a pair of white headphones in someone's ear, you think they're Apple. At that time, everybody had black headphones, you know what I'm saying? Or Skull Candy, that red, but they was the only ones with white headphones. So as soon as you seen white headphones, you knew they had an Apple phone type shit. So like little small,
like, I didn't even think about that because
little
headphones back in the day we had MP3 players and shit like that.
Yep.
It was black.
It was big ass, or the exact black or gray or just something. It just wasn't. But once you started seeing those little white cord, you knew that person had an iPhone type shit. So like Apple, and it was just off of a color. So like the book basically has a bunch of stories about like those small little steps that fucking will help just something take off.
That's hard. What the fuck? Yeah, I gotta get into reading. I think my fucking attention span is just crazy. I'll start reading 2 pages and I'm like, I don't.
There's something reading does for me. I can't lie. It's hard for me to. Most things like this that are good for me, honestly, are hard for me to start. Which is like if reading a book is good for me, it's hard for me to start. But when I do, I like it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like it's usually just like getting over like that first hour or the first 30 minutes. I try to like, I'll read in bed sometimes and like just choose that over TV or choose that over YouTube type shit. But nah, I have that issue too where I'm like, damn, like I read a couple books this year and then I stopped. I probably haven't read a book in like 3 months, 2 months. Last one I read was The Voice of Knowledge and that shit was like really good. But yeah, I have to get like, I just have to choose a book over the YouTube for the night type shit. And it really does make you feel better though. Or at least for me, it helps me feel like a little more clear-headed about some shit. You learn some shit in there, or like you might be reading about somebody going through the same shit as you. Cool. So we've pretty much picked Forest Brain. We learned a lot today. There's plenty of questions I didn't ask. Exclusivity or accessibility for your brand? Accessibility or exclusivity?
I think I like exclusivity because I always, just with my life and just with anything, I like to be a if you know type of person. So exclusivity is like not having everybody have it. Because like I feel like if you see somebody walking down the street, like say you see somebody walk down the street with your brand on, and you never seen nobody else with it on, you're like, bro, where the fuck did you get that? I can't see that. Like I don't know where I can find that at. But if you saw that dude walking down the street with your shit, then another person walked down the street with it, then you're like, you are gonna be like, damn, what the fuck is this brand? But then to me, I think the not everybody being able to have it is the best. Because I think we was talking about this when we was at the flea. It's like you might see a girl you want, and she's like hard to get. And you're like, fuck, I want her so bad. Because it's like, oh, I need that. But the girl that's like, you know for a fact you can get, it's like a,
Right. I wrote this down because I'm like trying to figure this out now.
Because they both have pros
right.
and they both have cons.
The one thing, basically, I started leaning towards accessibility just because my one, like, and it's kind of inspired by the like Yeezy Gap or just like Kanye in general, is like everybody, like for me, the way it translated is like, if you could up the standard of what fly is. So like now, like on some Sims shit, like all the NPCs here who don't care about getting dressed, if they were in Yeezy Gap or in my brand, then like now the like bottom population of fashion has risen.
Right. Okay.
Which then is gonna have to make us rise as the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? So I like have been leaning towards accessibility because like in my head,
cool
I just
shit
see
be accessible.
way more accessible. So everybody's
like
cool.
Yeah.
Like now the work to be cool is harder because it's like everybody got cool shit now.
That's what fashion is. Like it's trying to make people feel like I'm better than you type thing.
Right.
So when you make it accessible, it's like,
and it creates a new challenge.
Cool too. Yeah.
Exactly. It creates a new challenge. It's like fucking now everybody else has to get better. All right, last question we'll do is, what does success look like to you and why does it matter?
Success to me looks like being able to pay my bills and take care of my people from my art. So whatever that my art is, once I'm able to literally call my mom and be like, look, Ma, I got such and such bread for you to buy you a crib. You don't got to work no more. That's like success to me. Like being able to just be like, Ma, you got this. And I can wake up and I'm not having to be like, oh, I have to do this today to pay my bills. I'm literally just paying bills and all that other stuff off of the shit that I enjoy doing, whether it's music, clothes, whatever. Instead of being like, all right, I got to go do this one thing. I don't really want to do it, but it's paying my bills and shit like that. So I want to be able to successfully do that because honestly, I keep talking about this. I honestly want to be like not having to do nothing but make music. And like that be my thing. And if I am making clothes and shit like that, it's because I want to make those clothes and I don't care if it sells or I don't care if it's anything. I like really do want to make music.
Well, if I have one parting tip, I would say, or like as the 28-year-old man here sitting here with three years on you, I would say that one thing that really helped change my life is like time be flying. And I promise you, like, because I mean, I feel like this is the first time you said like, yo, I just want to make music. Yeah. So I feel like if really like you think it's forever, but if you literally just said, okay, for 1 year, I'm only going to make music, like that year will go by so fast and you'll be able to look back and say, hey, do I want to keep only making music? Or like you have the capabilities and the option to like try that for only a year.
I was thinking about that in the crib. I'm like,
look back.
Let's just dedicate like a year to one of these things and just see where it goes. Because then you have that option, like you said, to do something else.
Back. What about to me? Success is like you said, being able to like pay my mom's whatever, you know what I'm saying, pay my own bills, help my family out, help my like young family out, be able to like, you know, give them opportunities, give more opportunities, be able to like be generous, like just like as generous as I could be is like what with my like knowledge and like with the wave, like to me is like what success is. Like getting money is like, of course, but like to me, like really being generous with the sauce. I like see it more and more now, like even with like dudes and girls where like I realize like I'll be around somebody and I'll be like, damn, like the reason you really like me is because like I have sauce I can give you type shit. And that used to make me want to like hold it away. But now like some of the most beautiful like experiences I've had in my life is like improving someone's taste.
Yeah.
So like it goes along with how I just want to get dressed every day because my true passion is like people really caring about what I put on that day because they really care about my taste because I will help improve your taste. Like, and it's not just clothes, it's almost lifestyle because it's like, damn, he's eating the best cheese and drinking the best wine and he has on the best underwear too. So like I just want to be able to like do that. So like success to me is like fucking like all the bread and change taste, like exactly, like inspire up idea, like up like before you met me you didn't have a journal, now you have a journal. You know what I'm saying? Before you met me you didn't wash your face with a certain type, now you do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I just want to like up a little bit of society type shit. All right, well that was the Fork and Knife Show with my guy
Forrest Ripperton.
And it was a fucking pleasure. I know this one's gonna slap. I feel like we was just talking and we got some good talking points in there. I know this is also a highly sought after interview. My boy is like a Jordan 1 release. They care about him. They line up for him. So I appreciate you for coming.
Yes,
and appreciate you guys for watching. And we'll be back soon. Let me know who else I should interview, what else I should talk about. Like and subscribe, and I appreciate it.
I just spent a bag in Dior.